Now as Boudreau intercepts that pass, Teat's going to stay on the floor for the third shift as Gibson gets back out there. Boudreau goes to Teat, rips a shot, top corner, and Brampton leads 1-0. Off the interception by Jake Boudreau, who ran the floor. Teat, as we said, forced to stay up on defense for that brief shift, as he took off running back the other way and puts it over the shoulder of Hartley, who then went to the bench for a water break. Beaches and Braves, 2 points separating them in 8th and 9th place. Again, that was a 7:30 start, so we will try and keep our eye on that, as well as the other 2 games, 4 in total tonight in Junior A action. Boudreau again with the pickoff over to the far side this time. The shot from Mackenzie Burke, and that gets caught up in the paraphernalia of Hartley. Lakers hosting St. Catharines Athletics tonight, as that's a big game for the Athletics, as they are only 1 point ahead of the Beaches for what is currently 7th place, as Brampton will control this loose ball. Up the far side, Weideman. Off the bench is Wright. Mason Wright coming in from Halton Hills for this game, as they were recently eliminated from the playoffs by Oakville Buzz in 3 straight. That's a tough matchup for both of those 2 teams, who have been good in recent years, but it will be the Oakville Buzz moving on to round number 2 in the Junior B playoffs. St. Catharines 3 back of Burlington for 6th. So they may need a win to keep pace here. Currently down 1-0 to Peterborough. As Cresswell's down the far side. Shot comes from up top by Matt Van Gill and gets all the way through to Jensen, who makes the save. 2 teams at complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Six Nations Arrows, who earlier this week clinched first place overall, as Vince takes this one off the glass, up for Whiteford. And now Teat. 6 in the shot clock as Teat cuts back. Zach Masson, the big chop there. And Teat working the left arm out. That one got him up in the shoulder. Arrows clinching first place, and Barrie and Peterborough are well behind the pack at this point. But it is a 2-2 tie up in Barrie. The only loss of the season so far for the Arrows coming against the Peterborough Lakers. There's been some crazy things happen in that building, including the first win of the season for Coburg last night in Major Series Lacrosse. 8-7 over what was almost a full complement of Peterborough Lakers in Major Series. Up top here for Weideman, his shot looking 5-hole on Hartley. Teat posturing up at the top of the crease, waiting for that one to poke free. Just didn't do that, as we're almost 8 minutes into period number 1 here. Just 1 goal so far. It was Jeff Teat for Brampton, as now Orangeville tries to even things up. Shoved through the crease. Austin Lane, the trade deadline acquisition, as a couple fakes back in transition though. Connor McClelland will make it 2-0 here, just past the 12-minute mark. As we can hear the yelling underneath of us where Brampton's bench is located. J.J. Jensen wanted a quick drink there. Rylan Hartley shakes off the official's suggestion. And Kyle Vince awarded possession after the face-off infraction. Here's Robinson. to Teat, looking for Mason Wright. He was trying to find the cutter and just led Robinson too far, as Masson will pull it out of the pile. Still waiting on a score update, like we said, from Toronto. As soon as we can get that to you, we'll pass it along. And as we refresh, Kitchener over the Beaches right now, 3-0. And Point Street claims they're at the same spot in the game as we are, but they started half an hour sooner. And now as we reset again, 4-1 is listed as the score between Six Nations and Barrie. It's a bit more what we may have expected, as Van Scheppen puts this in the corner to Whiteford. Back for Hazen, looking up top, Gibson. Van Scheppen, only man there who realized where the errant ball was and got a quick shot away on Hartley, as Teat will now have a fresh 30 to work with. Back for Gibson, outside shot, Hartley the save. Van Scheppen running in, a couple whacks. Pass comes back here for Steve Sutton, as Mac O'Keefe comes off the bench. A couple big shoves in the corner. Scott Delzato involved, and as Cresswell brings it up top. Braden Cresswell back with it, one-on-one with his defender. Backhand pass into the corner, and no time for Travis Brown to work with, as we get the face-off violation, or pardon me, the 30-second shot clock violation, and that takes us into the back half of period number 1. Whiteford the shot there, as Hartley looking for it. It bounces off an Orangeville player. Andrew Ecclestone right there, the Brampton bench asking for the back in call. It's not coming as Robertson waves his stick at Jeff Henrik. Far side Austin Lane, Delzato shot doesn't get through the crowd. Second opportunity, Kyle Waters. Does get through. Thought we had a goaltender change, but JJ Jensen normally wears an all-white helmet. He's got the black one on tonight. As here's Teat. Takes a bit off that and still finds the shoulder of Hartley, though. Fresh 30 as going into the corner drop there. If that's closer to the boards, I can almost guarantee you there will be a penalty on that play, but Travis Burton lucky he went straight down almost, and it's just a minor interference call. Weideman up top for Van Scheppen. To the far side, Mason Wright twists at the back end of the shot, and we'll get a high sticking call against, I believe, Christopher Willman, who will send Brampton to their first power play. And now some discussion here again with Clark Pedersen out of the lineup and Campbell Parker, the two crease players. So they'll put Whiteford on the near side down on the crease, Hazen on the far crease. And they'll start with Seth Van Scheppen, now Jeff Teat, and Gibson. Everyone's touched it now except for Whiteford down on the crease, and not going to matter. That is one heck of a shot from up top by Teat, as he gets his second of the night now on the power play. And it brings the score to 3-0 here for the Excelsiors with 8.5 left in the period. No changes on our out-of-town scoreboard. Which is a good time to remind you we're still open to sponsors for games the rest of the season and everything else we do, of course. And you can have your company sponsor the out-of-town scoreboard. As Jensen makes another save, rolling into the corner. A little bit extra in behind there for Orangeville. Allows Brampton to break out over center. Here's Wright. Gibson backing into the corner. And Teat. Jeff Teat with it. Shot right through the block of Jeff Henrik, who got right up in his face. Still made it through to Hartley, though. And now way over the top into Henrik, who remains on the floor. Taking a big whack there from Luke Van Scheppen. As Van Scheppen will bring it back for Scott Delzato. Another shot through a crowd. Jensen sees that. And we get a big pile up looking for this rebound. Big chop as well from Chris Nolan. And I think Nolan's going to head off. If they get the right number. Nolan had the biggest whack out of everybody, but it looks like Travis Burton is going to be the man headed to the box here. Burton and Randy Black, if I'm not mistaken, squared off in game number 1 against these two teams earlier in the season up at the Tony Rose Arena. Game you can see on archive at the JVI YouTube page, youtube.com/JVI Sports Network. Gibson, the decisive reach advantage and decisive decision in that scrap as well, as Brampton took game number 1 in the Highway 10 battle. Coming through into the crease here by Luke Van Scheppen. We're going to get a holding call to Orangeville, but he made contact with Hartley, who wasn't too appreciative of it, and gave an extra shove to Luke Van Scheppen. Kyle Stavely heading off here for the hold. As Brampton leads 3-0, we go 4-on-4 with 6 minutes, 50 seconds left here in period number 1. Whiteford to the far side. Gibson dancing around. He'll return to Teat. Whiteford all tied up with Masson as he tries to set a pick. Everyone collapses there on Teat as he got into the center. Shot bounces off the boards all the way up top for Tyson Gibson. Briefly had a lane. Nicely done by Henrik, though. On his toes to bounce over and cut that one off. Shot does come from Hazen, just beating the shot clock. And now Hazen running into the rugby ruck to see if he can come after this rebound. Still up for grabs. Picked up, though, by Braden Davis, who fell. And now 4-on-4 for 35 seconds as Orangeville will bring it up across the timeline. Travis Brown gets a step on Boudreau, goes to the net, takes the shot, gets the reset, ended up in the crease, but the rebound was picked up by Theo Dole. All the way down, look at the passing here. Mason Wright gets it. And we'll see if they go looking for the ball here. And they do. His first junior A goal for Mason Wright. That was a pretty passing play. I believe it was Kyle Vince and Theo Dole who should pick up assists here, as Vince is going to make his way back to the dot. But the first goal in the junior A career of Mason Wright. Pretty strong season, as we said, for the Halton Hills Bulldogs. Now making his mark here. Of course, not the first Halton Hills player, the non-local affiliate of the Brampton Excelsiors. Most recently, Connor Brown doing that before graduating from junior A last year. Power play here for the Excelsiors as Burton leaves the box. Abbreviated power play, as there will be 27 seconds left in the second penalty. Trying to split the defense here and being stuffed was Travis Brown. Now Boudreau running the floor down the far side, takes the shot, Hartley the save. Brown back into the corner with it, turns back and immediately meets Luke Van Scheppen. And Hartley plays that off the backboards. And we get a 10-second violation as Gibson comes up over center. Not sure if the Brampton bench was calling for the 10 count or calling for too many men. But eventually they got possession after the 10-second violation. And with 4.5 to go, Hartley picks that one out from in front of his crease as the pass goes awry, and Jeff Henrik brings it up over center again. Henrik has Connor McClelland all over him with a couple whacks. Knocked off position by Matt Van Galen. Brampton wanted the moving screen, but again, no call coming. These two officials, as we said, veterans here in the OLA and the NLL. And they're going to let them play, realizing there's a lot on the line tonight with second place up for grabs for Orangeville. It's not winner take all like it was Tuesday when Mimico was here, as Mason Wright spins around, looks low, and a crease violation before that shot makes its way through. We remind you, a 1-point advantage for Brampton over what is currently a tie between Whitby and Orangeville for third place. And Whitby is idle tonight. Idle the next couple days, of course, being Canada Day weekend. Trying to get your long weekend started off right. Celebrating our country with our national summer sport. Gibson putting that into the corner. He'll chase it all the way up towards center. As Teat being mugged here as he looked for that loose ball. I think it was Braden Davis knocking the pass from Gibson down. Gibson caught out there right now. Andrew Borgatti will go after the ball carrier as Mac O'Keefe comes off for Orangeville. O'Keefe around the corner, big pick as he comes back, played here by Davis Neal to the crease though, and Jensen follows that off to his left and is able to make the save. Delzato as that one bounce away. Van Galen does recover. 2.5 left in the first period. Coming up at intermission, interviews that I had the pleasure of conducting with the captain of the Excelsiors, Jeff Teat, earlier this season, as well as Junior A Commissioner Dean McLeod. Again, those two coming up at intermission. Seth Van Scheppen cuts the corner. Thought he may have gone airborne there, but just a couple fakes. None of them fooling Rylan Hartley. And another call for back in at the bench wanted, but again, the shake of the head from referee Josh Hiltz. Here's Delzato. Burton chases him all the way back to the restraining line as it's played back for Matt Van Galen. Van Galen's sidearm shot does find its way all the way through. Easily handled there by Jensen. And he'll easily leave there for Josh Medeiros. Right to the far side, Vince picking in front. That one way high. Played off the glass by Zach Masson. And Masson will angle his way across the floor here. Gibson waves at the stick on his way by. Gibson headed off the floor though. Cresswell to the far boards. Mac O'Keefe trying to get by Mackenzie Burke. Can't, so he passes off to Travis Brown. Brown with McClelland on him. McClelland will pop this one free. And it'll be pushed up. Burke to Teat. Teat looking for the corner, and a last-minute adjustment sent it wide as he took a hit just as he was about to get in shooting position. 35 left in the period. As Austin Lane finds Delzato back for, Davis Neal. As Lane went into the corner, those two switching spots. Jensen with the save. He's looking for the bench to see if he gets the call here with 20 seconds left. And it looks like now he will with 14 to go. Six-man set. No surprise here. Teat, the extra attacker, into the corner. Whiteford, the shot from Gibson, scores. I don't even know if Teat touched that ball on the extra attacker set. How about 5-0 here for the Brampton Excelsiors with 5 seconds left in the first period. Again, coming up in intermission. Double interviews for you. as we make the stretch drive into the playoff run. Vince and Willman are going to stalemate this face-off. And what a period for the Brampton Excelsiors, proving they want to hang on to second place here in the Highway 10 battle. We'll take a brief break and introduce you to Jeff Teat and Dean McLeod. You're watching Ontario Junior A Lacrosse League action on the JVI Sports Network. I'm pleased to be joined now by the captain of the Junior A Brampton Excelsiors, Jeff Teat. Jeff, took you a little bit for you to get back into the lineup here because you were busy down south with Cornell. Top freshman in the country, honorable mention All-American. There was a whole bunch of lists with you down in Cornell there. How excited are you to be back up here playing in Brampton?
It's good to be back. I mean, I had a great time at school, and we had a great season so far at school, and especially down at the back end. But it's nice to be back and nice to get playing some games again, and that's about it.
Talk a little bit about the differences between field and box, and the fact you're doing it pretty much back-to-back weeks here in the summer season.
They're pretty similar to me. I play the same game in both ways, in both field and box, so I think they both benefit each other. So to me, it's kind of one right into the other. Not many hiccups, not many mistakes happening along the way or trying to get to know certain stuff. To me, it's just blend right in and get back into it.
The top guys that play on your offensive line, there's yourself, Clark, on your left side. I mean, you guys seem to gel just really well on that offensive side on the power play. What's the chemistry like with this team?
Our chemistry is pretty high. We've been playing together for a long time, especially in minor. We've always played against each other. So, we've always been around each other, know our tendencies, know our strengths. So it's it's pretty fun to play with those guys out there, and you can see it in our chemistry.
Early on in this season, we've been talking in a lot of our interviews about the parity throughout this league, top to bottom. You guys find yourself nearer to the bottom of the standings. I know you've only played 3 games coming into tonight, but are you guys worried at all, or what's your mindset when you come in, especially a big game like you're playing Orangeville here tonight?
I think the first 3 games, just to show our improvement over the first 3 games, and definitely not worried. We're missing some guys. Some guys are back in the lineup, some injuries, and some new guys. We're just trying to fit into the lineup, trying to get some chemistry going there. But we got a core group of guys that have been working pretty hard throughout the last couple seasons, and we feel pretty confident going down the road.
So this will be your last season with the Minto Cup here in Ontario, and you guys are hosting that at the Memorial Arena, in Brampton, on your own home floor. Does that give you guys any added pressure this season, knowing that you got to play your way in, knowing that you guys are going to be playing here? This would be your last time doing it here in Ontario.
I don't think it's any added pressure. I think it's more motivation for us, to play in front of our home crowd, in front of our family and friends. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be a challenge, but it's nothing that we're going to shy away from.
We talked to your dad last week, Dan, your head coach as well. What's it like playing underneath your dad and playing at this top level?
Played under him for a long time now, especially in box, a little bit in field, but mostly box. And we butt heads sometimes, but at the end of the day, he's played the game a lot longer than I have, and he knows what's best, along with the other coaching staff that we have, and they're all great, and it's a great fit.
We did cover your home opener against Six Nations. It looked like a lot of guys were trying to get used to the turf that's now down at Memorial Center. It looks beautiful, but for you guys, what's the adjustment switching surfaces on your home floor?
It's a little bit different. Nothing we haven't played on before, though. Personally, it's nice to play on nice soft turf. But personally, I don't think it's that much big of a difference. Other than that, it's nice, and ball bounces differently a little bit. But other than that, it's not too much of a difference.
We got the turf in now. Do you have any inside information on when the air conditioning is coming in, or no?
I don't know. That'd be nice, but it's an old barn, and we like it the way it is, so we're not too keen on getting that put in.
Does that affect you? The heat must affect you in that arena. I know we're coming into another stinky, hot, sweaty barn here too, but does that affect you guys and give you an advantage when you come into a place like this?
Maybe a little bit, but we always have fans on the bench and in the room, so we're always trying to keep cool. I think it affects us a little bit down the road in the third period when everybody's gassed, everybody's tired, everybody's hot. But it's something we've been doing for a long time, and nothing that we say that affects us.
Well, we'll be covering the Brampton Excelsiors all season long here in the OLA Jr A division. Jeff, thanks for doing this. The captain again of the Excelsiors. good. Hello, everyone. Matthew Carrick here in the press box of the Brampton Memorial Arena in Brampton, Ontario, joined by a very special guest, the Commissioner of Junior A Lacrosse for the Ontario Lacrosse Association, Dean McLeod. Dean, a great night ahead of us here behind us. The carpet's down here at Memorial Arena as the Brampton Excelsiors are going to face the Six Nations Arrows. Let's talk about the change on the floor first. I think it looks beautiful.
Well, first of all, Matt, thanks for having me. And regarding the carpet, yes, it does look great. It was over at the Powerade Center in storage for 3 years. It was basically wasting over there. I got the idea, talking to a couple of the councillors, to bring it over here. I met with some city fathers high up in the city, 3 gentlemen, and we went from there. Basically, I got to give a shout out to the city of Brampton, both councillors, the mayor, the staff that I met with. They brought it over. They saw the value of having it here, how it enhances the games, and the most important thing in my view is when we host the Minnow Cup here in September, there's going to be August, I'm sorry. There's going to be absolutely no chance of having any wet floors now. And this arena is notorious for get a rainstorm, get the humidity. You wouldn't be playing lacrosse in here. But the most important part to me is the youngsters, like 5, 6, 7, right from 4 or 5 years old, right up to 40 years old seniors are going to be able to play on here where they didn't have that opportunity over at the Powerade Center.
Well, I was going to say, we've already seen a few Junior B games behind us. The majors are going to be in here as well. Such an iconic building, I think, when you talk Brampton lacrosse as well. There was really no question this is where the Minto Cup was going to be should Brampton host it.
Well, that's true. It's a matter of cost. The cost of this building compared to the Powerade Center, and it's like night and day. I'm not going to name figures, but it's enormous. And the city of Brampton very graciously stepped up and gave us a generous contribution of $65,000 to go towards the hosting of the Minnow Cup. And myself personally, I'm just very, very thrilled being the commissioner of the league and being a fellow that was born about 10 doors south of here. I watched them build this building as a 4 or 5 year old in 1950. I played all my hockey, minor hockey, junior hockey, lacrosse in here, and it is one of the most iconic, along with New Westminster, Salmon Belly's Queen's Park Arena, historic arenas in Canada. And to bring the Minnow Cup back here to be played in 2017, to me is an enormous.
Yeah, I grew up in Brampton as well. I know what this building means to this community, lacrosse community. It's great to be in here. The carpet looks fantastic. We got to work on air conditioning, though. I know you got some friends now in City Council, but our thanks to the city of Brampton. 2 great teams here tonight in Brampton and Six Nations. They've been near the top. We know what Orangeville's done. I've seen Burlington a couple times this year. They look fantastic. Mimico made a great run last year. Just seems top to bottom, this league is just getting better and better.
There's a lot of parity now, and these 2 teams right here with the Minnow Cup, Brampton isn't an automatic entry. The 2 teams that play in our Ontario finals will be the Minnow Cup participants from Ontario, and there's 5 or 6 teams that you've just named. Every one of them's got a chance.
And probably more than that. They were just the top of my head, but we still haven't even seen what everybody has, right?
Yes, well, certainly to have the inaugural game. I know the Junior B's played in here last night, but to have the inaugural Junior A game in here with the Six Nations Arrows and 2 of the top teams, basically 2 of the top 4 teams, it's going to be a great game. And I think the fans of Ontario watching Junior A Lacrosse, we had a great season last year, and I believe this year there should be more parity. You named 2 teams, Mimico and St. Catharines. They're young, they're on the way up. I haven't seen Mimico play. I haven't seen St. Catharines. Toronto Beaches, I saw them. They lost by 1 goal to Six Nations. Right. Now, and I'm fully aware that there's kids missing at this time of year. I'm sure that these 2 teams tonight have 4 or 5 kids still in school, but by the time the 1st of June comes back, the teams will all be at full strength. And any Friday night you come in here or go into the Nations or up into Orangeville, Whitby, I was down seeing them. They were down 6-1 at St. Catharines. They came back and won at 9-8. So just a great game, and we're in for a good season of Junior A lacrosse.
Our thanks to Commissioner Dean McLeod and the captain of the Brampton Excelsiors, Jeff Teat. 5-0 after the first period here for the Excelsiors. As a couple goals in transition and one on the power play. Teat now has 2. Mason Wright with his first Junior A goal. Tyson Gibson and Connor McClelland, the only goal scorers in this game so far. End of the first period end of the first period in Toronto. KW Braves, again, this is the battle for the final playoff spot if it were to end today. Kitchener leads 4-0 after the first period, as they have been on a pretty good tear of late, picking up a number of points to get themselves back into contention. Again, that for 8th place. They have just started now, period number 2. 3-1 now, Peterborough over St. Catharines about 3 minutes into the second period. And 7-4, Six Nations over Barrie, again, about a minute and a half into period number 2. We're getting set for our second period here as well. Brampton Memorial Arena on the JVI Sports Network. I'm Matthew Carrick, and we thank all of you for tuning in either here live or on demand. Over 18,000 views now. If you're considering sponsoring a lacrosse broadcast, those are your numbers. By the end of the weekend, we're expecting to hit that 20,000 mark for our coverage of Junior A this season so far. So our thanks to all the fans out there and all the teams involved who have welcomed us into their buildings and supported this venture this year. Over in the corner, Josh Majeros, as Orangeville briefly had first possession of the period. This one all the way back up top for Mackenzie Mitchell. That gets a couple players changed, but they only got 5 seconds with which to work for their main offensive unit, did Orangeville. That forced a quick shot that was easily handled here by the Excelsiors as they slowly make their way into the offensive zone. Whiteford, Gibson, into the corner for Wright. He feeds Gibson on the give and go, and Gibson's going to get his second of the game. Mason Wright not looking out of place at all here tonight, as he's now got, by our count, 2 points. Pretty goal earlier on, the first of his Junior A career, and that's a well-scouted and well-executed give and go with Tyson Gibson to give Gibson his second goal of the game and make it 6-0 in favor of the home side here in Brampton. Orangeville handled that face-off rather, and just hung around waiting for possession. Mike McCannell now giving it Cresswell as they continue to make their change. 10 seconds left in the shot clock as Cresswell goes to the far side for Delzato. Back here, Austin Lane. Burke falls on the play. Bench wanted a moving pick. They're going to get possession back anyways as J.J. Jensen hangs on to the rebound. Teat drops his shoulder into a check that will now pass off for James Whiteford. Back for Mason Wright again. His shot right into the Hornhead logo on the black jersey of Ryland Hartley. Over the top here now is Kyle Waters. Waters a give for Mac O'Keefe. Nice slide there by Travis Burton to take the lane away from Travis Brown as the two Travises collide. As Jensen will find Weideman, on the far side as Mac O'Keefe takes a big whack. Christopher Willman getting back into position to steal that pass away. As Zach Masson brings it into the zone. Matt Van Galen with it. Van Galen up top over for Masson. He's dancing around, tries to get around Weideman. Big whack there from Burton. And it was Jensen that was going to handle the shot anyways. McClellan and Gibson. Gibson will put it into the corner. There for Kyle Vince. Far side, Van Scheppen. Onto the crease, Hazen, who reaches around. And Gibson's going to pick up another point here tonight as he's primed for a big game off the goal from Austin Hazen. As this Brampton team continues to pull away from Orangeville here. Thought perhaps this would be a bit closer, but the Northmen are going to have to find something. 3 minutes gone in the second period. 7-0 now. Off the face-off in transition, Zach Deacon all alone. And they do indeed find something. It is a face-off play goal. 11 seconds after the 7th by Austin Hazen. And it is now 7-1 here in favor of Brampton. Early movement there from Brampton. Hands it here to Orangeville. As Davis Neal will come across the top into the corner. His initial swim move. Cutting back, a sidearm shot. And that one just past Jensen. It'll skip off the back glass and come all the way out to center. Neal with it back again. Goes to the far side. Braden Davis stuck in his tracks. Delzato setting the pick, gets the return pass. Couldn't handle it cleanly though. And Mackenzie Burke will run up the floor. Teat with speed switches hands. May have put a twist on the end of that, but Teat ends up with his hat trick. As now Mackenzie Burke picks up a point in the list of players with points in this game, or without points rather, continues to shrink. 10 out of the 18 have now registered a point, and we are only 4 minutes into the second period for this Brampton squad. Kyle Vince stuffing Willman there, not allowing him to go after the loose face-off, so the Northmen will play back again. Mac O'Keefe. Flip there for Van Galen. He tries to go down around the corner. And Kyle Waters holding up two players in front. That shot was a weak one that went off the backboards though. Here's Cresswell. Cresswell dropping the shoulder now. He gets a whack after he passes that ball away. There for Scott Delzato. Delzato far side, Van Galen. Mac O'Keefe now onto the crease, and Delzato ringing one off the post. It's going to be sent to the near side and dropped from behind. Chris Nolan. And Nolan got up and took off running there. Looked like he was maybe after Cresswell. Delzato ran some interference. Here's Weideman, with a shot that gets through. Hartley with the save. Davis Neal into the middle. And white jerseys all around him, so he ends up going back up top. Van Galen's shot may have gone off the mask there of Jensen. Looks to be all right. As Connor McClelland already won in transition in this game so far. Not this time, though, as he gives off for Van Scheppen and Teat. Van Scheppen knocking his man over, goes to the crease, takes the shot. And some of these picks, they keep pushing the line here. And both benches now asking what a moving screen really is tonight. We still haven't found it, as this shot from Mac O'Keefe again finding the mask of Jensen. He's still shaking out the cobwebs there. Andrew Ecclestone did ask if he was all right, and he said yes. So play continues with Robinson now right and Gibson. Gibson up top had thought about shooting briefly, but will now push into the corner for Wright. Back for Robinson. Justin Robinson setting a pick. And again, no moving screen call. So Robinson takes the shot. Brampton is the side that's been doing most of the more vocal complaining about the moving screen. And the last two offensive sets, we've seen them throw two of the biggest in the game that haven't been called. Big tie up here right in front of the crease. Theo Dole all over his man. And now McClellan doing the same. Dole, spin move around. Actually got picked out of the way there by the official. Mac O'Keefe accepts that pass just as Mackenzie Burke arrived on scene off the bench. O'Keefe dropping the shoulder. Playing back for Austin Lane. Lane sees this one go high, and Jake Boudreau, how many loose balls does he have in this game here tonight? As he just snagged another. 7-goal lead for Brampton as Teat shoved off the shoulder, did run a little bit high. No call though, as Wright, his shot off the shoulder of Hartley. Big scrum into the corner as they all pile in now. Mackenzie Mitchell in there for Orangeville, ended up coming away with Gibson. Boudreau. Wright's pass into the corner didn't quite meet up with either the goaltender or the intended target, so Burke will play it back. 10 on the shot clock. As Gibson tries to go around a pick. Orangeville player falls. Mason Wright with it. He gets shoved out after taking that shot. Hartley gobbling up the rebound. And he'll get it up the far side. Peterborough now on top of St. Catharines, 7-2. And Toronto Beaches have made it 4-1 as they've scored the most recent goal. Delzato into the corner. He trips. The only other game is up at the Innisfil Rec Center in Barrie as Delzato's shot hits the Excelsior logo on the chest of Jensen. Arrows still over Barrie, but still a lot closer than we may have expected. 8-5 for the Arrows up in Barrie. We'll refresh again. Again, point streak has lied to us more than once tonight already, but 8-5 is what looks like to be that score. Again, that one with no real impact on the standings as the Arrows have already clinched first place. Luke Van Scheppen, a brief argument there as he thought his shot beat the shot clock. But Josh Hill's in good position to signal no. Mac O'Keefe. Back to the far side for Brown and O'Keefe again. Into the wall, Austin Lane. Oh, swim move there. Takes it to the crease himself over the shoulder. Now from Neal. He goes to the far boards. Thought he may have had a behind the back shot, but took the pass instead. And now look at the ball movement as they work to the far side from Van Galen. He tried to be too pretty. Falls on the floor here for Mackenzie Burke. The shot and the shoulder save forced to be made by Hartley. And it'll be up the far side by Zach Masson. Luke Van Scheppen took a shot just in front of the bench, and him and Henrik still going at each other. Now Borgatti takes up the fight. As Cresswell works out from behind the crease. Pass going to the far side, intercepted though. As Nolan looking for Majeros, two players who don't get a lot of offensive shifts. And that pass finds carpet as Whiteford takes it right at center into the back half of the second period here. 8-1 lead for the Brampton Excelsiors. This pass to the near boards. Quick stick from outside by Gibson. And Hartley had to come all the way to his right to make the save. Did get there in time, though. And Orangeville will have another possession. Again, this win means more for Orangeville as they try and distance themselves from Whitby. Shot here from Neal. Goes wide to the crease and up out of play. So Weideman will take it in the corner. Tied with Whitby, 1 point behind Brampton. If Brampton were to win, they'd put some distance between them and that logjam in behind. 1 point here or there separating the next couple teams. Seth Van Scheppen chasing down Mike McCannell, and change of possession here. I didn't quite see what the call was as this gets passed into the corner for Austin Hazen. Teat to Van Scheppen into the corner again. We'll work around the pick from Van Scheppen as Whiteford takes the shot. Hartley getting the paddle on that to make sure the possession changes back Orangeville's way. Van Galen just able to keep that out of Borgatti's reach. As Van Galen gives to Austin Lane, now in the corner. Someone's lost a glove. It looks like an Orangeville player. It's actually Mackenzie Burke, as one of the Northmen fell on that play. Boudreau again quickly up the floor, and Gibson the beneficiary. He's got the hat trick, but what a night for Jake Boudreau. He's putting together a amazing transition performance tonight. Rylan Hartley signaling the timeout here as he wants to come get a drink. JJ Jensen briefly to the bench. He's already on his way back to the net. And I believe that makes it 9-1. And I don't think it was Hartley that signaled timeout. Looks like the bench, as Cameron Dunkerley will now replace Hartley in between the pipes. So 9 goals on the evening for Rylan Hartley, who has been a big part of this jump up the standings for Orangeville. Team that doesn't give up many goals. And we're going to get a scrap. Full yard sale. Jeff Henrik and Jake Boudreau is going to go with the game misconduct here. He's been one of the best players on the floor. Now they start swinging. Oh, big connect from both guys as Henrik again gets the right free. A lot of these are missing as they go over the top. That one connects though, and another one down, and Boudreau gets a parting shot. And are they done? Officials are going to step in. Chris Woolman getting a little too close for Josh Hiltz's liking. That was a good old-fashioned stare down, want to go, yes we do. And Jeff Henrik will get the tap from Dunkerley as they're escorted off the floor by Andrew Ecclestone. And they will go their separate ways. So as we praised Jake Boudreau for his fantastic night in transition, very quick explanation to the box, so I assume just 5 in a game each. As Orangeville will have possession. As they had possession off the face-off, they will retain, is the explanation from Josh Hiltz. And you kind of knew something was going to have to give Orangeville a spark, and we'll see if that does it for the bench. This is definitely a faster-paced offensive set than the last few have been. So they've tried the goalie change. They've tried the scrap. Both timeouts still intact now for DJ Cleveley, as they trail 9-1 here in the second half of the second period. Mackenzie Mitchell falls in front, and Mason Wright's going to get another as Dunkerley guesses the wrong way. And that'll bump it up to 10. So as we said, the replacement of the goaltender may have sparked the team. The scrap might have done it as well, but I guess not. We await plan C for the Orangeville bench at this point, and if one of those timeouts is used, I'm pretty sure we'll have to drop our audio. That looks like it gets stuck into the back of the stick by Christopher Willman. And that'll give possession here to Brampton. As Whiteford and Gibson keep it high. Whiteford into the corner, back here for Mason Wright again. Right around the corner, he's got Mitchell right in his face. So he'll go to the far side. Seth Van Scheppen returns it to Gibson, who falls as Willman is going to get a penalty here. Gibson takes the shot, Dunkerley the save. And we'll see what the call is. Christopher Willman is the guilty party, though, as he goes off for a high stick. As him and Tyson Gibson got tangled on the near side. 10-1 with 6.5 left to go in the period. Seth Van Scheppen, Jeff Teat, Gibson into the corner, Hazen. Gibson and Teat playing catch now. They'll mix it up as Van Scheppen snuck in behind everybody. And returned and got the quick shot away. Gibson, far side. Van Scheppen again rips a shot. And that one goes off the helmet of Mitchell, way high over the safety screening and into the crowd. And they'll restart in the corner. Teat up top. Gibson. Teat around his back for Van Scheppen. No look pass intended for Gibson. That one's going to skip away. Austin Hazen, though, does pick up with a couple Orangeville players on him. 10 on the shot clock, though. As Gibson goes for Teat. Behind the back pass. Right into the stick as Van Scheppen was poised to let that one rip. What a pass there from Teat. Shot didn't get all the way through, and it continued to bounce around before the shot clock violation. As Orangeville will get it. It's a reason he will finish well over 100 points here on the season. As Austin Lane splits the defense and then shoots high over top of the net. The ball ends up stuck in the crease, though, so Lane having to take the crease violation, reaching in. As Brampton remains on the power play here for 20 seconds. And Teat just straight down the middle. May have caught a piece, it looks like, of Kyle Stavely, who immediately comes off the floor grimacing. No movement in the left hand or arm. Trainer going to go to work on him. He is now working out the left hand. So possibly just a stinger on the follow through is kind of what it looks like based on the reaction, but he takes the glove off to look at it as this face-off goes all the way back down into the Brampton zone. Teat with his 4th of the game to put the lead into double digits here as Josh Majeros takes a whack. He's coming off holding his side, it looks like. As Gibson has it, Hazen following him off the floor. Gibson to the far side for Teat now. He rips. And that one wide of the mark as it comes all the way up top for Gibson. Looking for Teat on the crease again as they were late in the shot clock. They'll just go far side here for Masson. Masson around Burton. Round his second one, meets the third as Nolan knocks him down. As the shot ended up in the crease. Jensen still shaking out the mask a little bit. As Weideman gives for Gibson. Goes around to pick from Van Scheppen. And Dunkerley will hang on to that in the crease. Randy Black over center now with 3.5 left in the period. As Austin Lane, a big time pick there, Looking in open space for Mac O'Keefe. Picked off, though, by McClellan. Connor McClellan around the corner, takes the shot, and Dunkerley goes with him. Weideman, the screened bounce shot. Gets on net, and Dunkerley with another save. As the ball ends up top, Neal, his shot going wide. Weideman thought he picked that up cleanly and was headed off down the floor. Still fighting over it as Kyle Waters gets it, takes the shot just to reset the clock. It was down to 3. As Nick Stuckless, that's Travis Brown on the far side as Austin Lane has Chris Nolan on him. And again, a shot from Lane goes high over top of the net. May need to work on the strings there at intermission in 2 minutes and 20 seconds or so. Mason Wright into the corner, absorbs a hit, and is able to return possession up to Gibson. As Gibson will go to the far side via Jeff Teat. Seth Van Scheppen spins away from Mackenzie Mitchell. His shot into the body of one of the Orangeville players, Mac McDonald. Coming in, and a back in called here against Luke Van Scheppen. McCannell, couple whacks there as Van Scheppen arguing the call. Got an explanation from Andrew Ecclestone, but it's going to be brought all the way up by McCannell. This shot just wide of Jensen, skips off the glass, up near center, and over the shoulder shot, another high one from Austin Lane, and Brampton player pushed out of the way as Majeros brings it down the far side. Josh Majeros into the center. Teat trying to go around the world. Picked up by Majeros. His shot wide end up being off the glass. Picked up cleanly, though, by Zach Deacon. One already in the game. Travis Burton forcing him wide, and now Orangeville will slow things down as we near the final minute of play. Here's O'Keefe and Masson. Pick coming in front of him as Travis Brown takes his man out of the way. And O'Keefe just shoots it through Jensen. Looked like he was there in position. But O'Keefe finding the corner for just the second goal of the game for Orangeville. Second of the period with 56 seconds left. Both teams have both timeouts intact here. So I can imagine that whoever gains possession will signal it pretty quickly as Vince and Willman go to the dot. Willman will get possession. No call yet from the bench to our right. Can almost guarantee Brampton's going to burn one of theirs before this one's out. As Austin Lane backs into pressure. Lane pushed aside by Majeros. O'Keefe sends it off the backboards. Picked up by McClellan with 28 on the clock. Jensen again looking to the bench, wants to know if he's getting the call. And they say no, and no timeout either. I guess the 9-goal lead is good enough. As now Jensen making the run with 14 seconds, about the same spot he did in that first period as well. Back here for Gibson, now Hazen onto the crease for Wright, reaching around into the corner. How about your first Junior A game? You get the hat trick. Mason Wright. What a game here in Junior A. With 3 seconds left on the clock, Mason Wright has the hat trick, the third Brampton player to do that, along with Tyson Gibson and, of course, Jeff Teat. Stalemate at the dot between Kyle Vince and Christopher Willman. Looks like we'll have no further action or incident before these two teams head to their rooms. We're going to take you to a break. Back inside Brampton's Memorial Arena, we wait the arrival of the Excelsiors. The Orangeville Northmen already on the floor, and Cameron Dunkerley looks like he'll remain in the net. This time the net to our right, as we're about 15 seconds away officially on the clock from the start of period number 3. Only 2 goals, Mac O'Keefe and Zach Deacon, your points getters for the Orangeville Northmen, your goal scorers, pardon me. A 4-point night so far for Mason Wright with 3 goals and an assist. 6 points for Tyson Gibson, 3-3, but Jeff Teat just continues his massive season with 4 goals and 3 assists. As Brampton comes into period number 3, leading 12-2. Early movement off the opening faceoff, awards it to Chris Woolman. And we can tell you that Six Nations now pulling out an 11-6 lead over Barrie, as JJ Jensen remains in the crease. That shot bounds hard off the backboards. As Peterborough still up 9-2. Big nights for Kyle Killen and Jake Fox in that one. KW Braves up 8-1 over the Toronto Beaches now as well. So games that we thought were going to be pretty good and pretty close. Looks like some teams are ready to say a few things before this playoff run is over, as if the standings weren't a big enough mess to try and figure out. We're not even going to get into playoff scenarios or anything of that nature this season. Over on the far side, backing into coverage, was Austin Lane. His defender realized he was leaning back, just got out of the way, and he fell backwards before that shot went wide of JJ Jensen. As Hazen runs it down the far side. Teat up top. He's got Van Scheppen in front of him. Teat takes the shot, and Dunkerley makes the save as it scoots wide. Big hit going after the loose ball as Van Scheppen was felled there by, I believe, Mike McCannell. There were a couple black jerseys in the area, as Van Scheppen will stay on the floor to set a pick here. Teat working around Masson. Now Van Scheppen on Masson again as Gibson handles this ball on the far side. Whiteford into the corner. Van Scheppen gives back there for Whiteford. He wasn't ready for it, as the big shot fake came first, and that fooled everybody, including his partner. Mike McCannell up for Mac O'Keefe as Borgatti shoves him out of the way. Played back here for Delzato. What a quick shot there for Delzato. And without the stick, and a long way from it, is that Connor McClellan? Pardon me, Theo Dole. And it was actually flipped to him by Luke Van Scheppen, as this shot through the body of Andrew Borgatti. He had to stand in and eat a slash afterwards, as that one did go up and out of play. 3 minutes into the third. Six Nations now leading 12-6. The only change in what was the closest game, the one that, again, really didn't mean anything, as Whiteford now takes this one. Ends up falling into the crease and had lost the ball beforehand. Now Teat hanging on to it a little too long in the eyes of the Orangeville players. But it will be Masson sending it up here for Lane, who works it to the far side. Lane ends up falling down again, and it'll be a tripping call. Looked like he just tried to dance around the outside of the double team. Nolan going off for a trip. You would imagine with the score the way it is, these two officials have let them play here tonight, but maybe just a bit of a tighter leash. We have seen one scrap if you're joining us late. Jeff Henrik and Jake Boudreau, the old stare him down, shed the gear, and throw bombs. As Lane will take top spot here on the power play. Big shot from Mac O'Keefe. gets all the way through. Save made by Jensen as O'Keefe has it again. Lane over the shoulder, O'Keefe into the corner. And Davis Neal with it as Burton works him over. O'Keefe and Lane. Back near side, Travis Brown. Brown backs away. Shot there. Bounces all the way back to center for Austin Lane. No reset as Lane tries to rip one. We've seen him go high a couple times. That one just misses the mark as it was just wide. There's Seth Van Scheppen. 50 seconds left in the Brampton power play. Brampton penalty, rather, as Teat will take it now with Masson staring him down. Brampton continuing to rag it here. Teat and Gibson. Finally, the shot from Gibson. And Dunkerley there to make the save as it booms off his pads and works over to the far boards. Flipped ahead by Braden Davis as Lane will cross center and again take top spot. Austin Lane into the middle. Defenders lost the stick over the shoulder attempt by Mac O'Keefe. That one's high over the net. Had the corner if it was on target as Davis is shoved forward by Borgatti. Penalty expires. This one wide of the mark off the backboards, and Nolan goes racing off towards the bench as Majeros will handle this off the glass. Kyle Vince back with it. As they bring it into the offensive zone. Whiteford, now Teat. 10 on the shot clock as Teat backs into pressure. Still with it. Teat draws the triple team. And the shot from the far side from Hazen ends up in the shaft of the stick, I believe, of Mike McCannell, who now has possession, streaking off the bench. Down the far side, Matt Van Galen as Delzato comes in. Delzato taken into the boards after the fact. And Luke Van Scheppen was about to take off. But it'll be a change of possession here with Orangeville getting it. 6 minutes into period number 3. Cresswell for Delzato. His shot through a crowd and through Jensen as well. And Braden Cresswell will get goal number 3 here. The 2 goals that have gone in have been shots that there's been a lot of people in front and they've been kind of around screens, and I'm not sure Jensen has seen it. He's been pretty on here tonight. We've seen some errant shots as well from Orangeville, but for me it's now about getting people in the shooting lane and making sure that you disrupt the vision of J.J. Jensen. And try and do it in a hurry. Ball stripped away as it's picked up again here by Travis Brown over to the far side. Burton on top of Delzato as Delzato goes down as the ball goes out of play. That shot off the glass as Brown will get back into it again. Delzato. Majeros is tied up in front as Delzato goes to the far side. Austin Lane takes the shot. That's off the arm of Jensen. Falls down, stays in the crease though, and the Excelsiors will come up over center. It appears that Brampton will go up to 22 points, and that will put them 3 ahead of Whitby and Orangeville, barring an incredible comeback here as Orangeville's about to take another penalty. Shot from way outside by Gibson. Kyle Stavely pleading his case, but he will get the holding minor. Whitby and Orangeville tied 19 points apiece. Right behind them, Mimico with 18. Burlington behind them with 17. Burlington's next game against Mimico on Wednesday night. Mimico has one before that on Sunday as well. So it could be a big week for the Mimico Mountaineers, who, after this evening, amongst playoff contenders, will have played 16 games, the least. A few teams now sitting at 16. As we're getting near the end of the season here, Barrie coming into tonight with 14. They are the lowest in games played, as Stavely goes off for holding here in Brampton. Peterborough looks like they're going to go up to 9 points here tonight, which would be 2 back of KW, who should end the night tied with 13 with the Toronto Beaches. So the race for the final playoff spot not over in Junior A just yet. Dunkerley looking for that ball after the shot as the 10 count is on. Travis Brown bringing it over center. Brown getting away from McClelland. It's now back for Van Galen. He'll go into the corner. Mac O'Keefe cleared out of the crease. And 2 Orangeville players go down. Looks like they may have collided knees as they both get up slowly. Austin Lane and Matt Van Galen slowly off the floor. They're just getting to the bench now as the shot goes in. An extended, what was basically a 5-on-3, as Orangeville probably had too many players out there as they were killing a penalty. And was this Gibson again with his 4th? To make it 13-3. The most of the attention being paid to Austin Lane on the Orangeville bench. The trainer did check on Lane, but he is back out there on the floor now. And indeed, it was Gibson with his 4th. And Teat picking up another assist as this shot hits something and goes all the way down the floor. 3 on the shot clock here for Orangeville as Burton goes on to Lane immediately. Lane going down here as he'll just take a swipe at Medeiros on the way by. So some really good battles still coming here down the stretch. Beaches and St. Catharines look like they both could lose here tonight. 1 point separating the two of them, and what should be KW by the time the evening's over. Oh my goodness. Jeff Teat's got 5 tonight, and that is a straight rocket way up top, past the screen, into the top corner. That's just not fair. 11 goal lead now for Brampton as they're up 14-3. And another face-off awarded here to Willman. Vince flipping it sky high, and Chris Willman takes exception to that, rather. As there is a big tie-up in front of the crease. Ball on the far side, though, as Cresswell runs in. Brampton player falling here, tries to get it out in front of his own crease. Cresswell, back up for Mac O'Keefe. His shot goes off the shoulder of Jensen and up out of play. O'Keefe back with it. Big tie-up as soon as the whistle went. Couple individual battles here. We're going to get a slashing call. Either that or an equipment call as the chin strap popped free underneath of Justin Robinson, and he stayed on to give a couple extra hacks. And the question from the bench is, how did that happen as the two of them were tied up? So power play coming here for Orangeville on a night that the offense, understatement of the day, just has not been there. And there's another mistake on this offensive side. Here's Lane. Back for Travis Brown. Far side O'Keefe. Up top again, Austin Lane, and again, Jensen there to make the save. So when they have put shots together, Jensen's been able to see them cleanly and get himself in good enough position to make the save. As in transition here, Gibson takes the shot. Stick ripped out of the hands of Teat on the near side. Far side, though, is where the action is as Steve Sutton comes down, circles the crease, pushes this one all the way back up to center, where Matt Van Galen will catch up to it. Back O'Keefe, Van Galen in the corner to Austin Lane, who was right in the middle of the box. It collapsed, but not in time. And as everyone arrived, he just couldn't get the shot away. As now Weideman will bring it over center. Weideman all the way into the low corner now. 40 seconds left. As Weideman far side to Austin Hazen up top. Seth Van Scheppen slams on the brakes just before the over and back line as Zach Deacon pressuring him. Deacon and Stavely, I believe, as Van Scheppen over the top. He's able to find Weideman, who takes it in for the shorthanded goal. That's a pretty pass right there from Seth Van Scheppen. Now 11 different runners have scored a point, or registered a point, I should say, out of 18 for Brampton. And Willman and Vince tied up again, and Willman, if he was upset last time, he's going to be pretty upset this time. And they're going to take both draw men to the box for two. 8 minutes left here in the period. Unsportsmanlike on both sides, and I think the extra coming to Kyle Vince, 2 for a hold. Still 16 seconds remaining in the initial penalty to Justin Robinson. And that 8 minutes means that, barring power play goals, Kyle Vince will be out with less than 5 to go, which is pretty much the magic number where extracurriculars do not happen. As penalty box door opens, and Justin Robinson rejoins the fray. But if it wasn't for that, I would say that the battle between Vince and Willman is not over. Again, this is the final time these two teams will see each other this regular season, of course, pending the playoffs. What a series that would be, these two teams so rich in history. Fitting we start Canada Day weekend, where we celebrate 150 years of this country with these two teams that are so rich in their own history, of course. Shove there from Davis Neal into the feet of Jensen. He thought it was in his feet. It actually rolled out the front. And picked up there by Connor McClelland, as Burton was able to pass off. A number of hidden ball plays here. It is on the far side. In the stick of Gibson for Van Scheppen now. He'll put it to the boards for Teat. As we are 4-on-4, Teat around Masson. And Masson's just going to take him to the turf. They end up in the crease As this one will be stripped in stride by Braden Davis. The back pass here back to Davis on the far side, looking to the crease for Stavely, who couldn't get a stick on it. Stavely recovers though. And the low shot skips off the turf and is there to beat Jensen for goal number 4 for Orangeville. 15-4 now the score. And who's going to take this face-off? Andrew Borgatti coming out for Brampton. Remember, offsetting minors to Willman and Kyle Vince. Looks like Zach Masson will be the other draw man. And Nolan puts his foot on the ball and kicks it back. But Masson at the exact same time put a chop into his leg. So Masson will send Brampton to the power play here as we close in on the final 6 minutes of the period. We'll see if we've got any final scores to update you on the out-of-town scoreboard. Again, one of those segments that is available for sponsorship if you're a business owner out there or family member of any of the players involved and you like to support us here at the JVI Sports Network. Six Nations have defeated Barrie 13-6 now. So they extend their lead in first place. 10 seconds left. Peterborough up 10-4, so they should, I guess, will defeat the Six Nations Athletics. And Kitchener-Waterloo has jumped ahead 9-1 on the Toronto Beaches. So KW putting it together at the right time this season as they might sneak their way into the playoffs. Again, KW, Toronto, and St. Catharines are all going to be within 1 point of each other. They are 3 back of Burlington for 5th as a shot comes in here off the left hand of Jensen. Big hit on the far boards as Travis Burton was taken out by Austin Lane. Burton staring down Lane. Burton looked like he was ready to go there as Lane comes off with a big grin under the face mask. And the chirping continues. Again, 5 minutes and 10 seconds left. As we look at that magic 5-minute number. As Gibson, a hard, not sure if that was a bounce pass or a desperation dump as they were way late in the shot clock. As Davis Neal comes off the bench here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Orangeville players, and they have one in the box. They did pull the goaltender, though, as Dunkerley was on the bench. As here's Whiteford, the shot goes right off his helmet as he just got set in position. And Randy Black will take it down the far side. Black fake to break towards the net, and they'll pull Dunkerley again. He gets as far as one of the advertisement logos before made his way back to the net. And it'll be Zach Masson coming into the fray, though, as he comes off the penalty bench. Luke Van Scheppen down the floor. Weideman is going to put his shoulder into Travis Brown. Trailing the play is Teat. And get the socks out, ladies and gentlemen. That's 6. Right at the tail end of the Orangeville power play. Exactly 4 minutes left. A little too warm to be wearing socks here today. It's been pretty humid, and that humidity, if you've ever seen a game in this building, gets stuck here. Now Vince and Wilman are back to the faceoff dot. They will stare down, and it looks like they just go after that cleanly. A brief word there and a shove of the shoulders. But as I said, in the back 5 minutes of the third period, don't expect much of anything else here. This eventual win, I'm going to say, for Brampton, as Dunkerley put his paddle out there. They're going to call a crease violation as Hazen picked up and fired it into the empty net. Brampton's going to put a bit of distance in between them and Whitby and Orangeville. But the Whitby-Orangeville Mimico-Burlington battle for positions 3 through 6, and then 7, 8, 9 between St. Catharines, Toronto, and Kitchener are going to be the two to watch as we head into the final week or so of this Junior A season, as they're tightly pressed together. And that last battle becomes even bigger because in the first round, we've been saying it for about the last week or so, do you really want to be facing these Six Nations Arrows in round number 1? I don't know if I want to face them in any round, but the way they've been playing when they're at full strength. But that's the situation those teams are faced with. Austin Lane gets filled in as Delzato takes the sidearm shot. Burton, stick goes high. Delzato and Burton trading short jabs. The official gets there again. Burton looked like he was ready to go, but too late as the officials were showing up. 2 minutes and 22 seconds left now in the period. Reminder that it was Burton that went in the game in Orangeville. Offsetting roughing minors, I believe, was the signal. Briefly looked like delay of game, but we'll be 4-on-4 here, basically for the remainder of regulation time, unless Orangeville decides to bring Dunkerley to the bench again. Cutting through all alone and clear of the crease, Travis Brown, as there was some contact in front of him that makes the lead just 11 as it comes 4-on-4. O'Keefe, Braden Cresswell, Travis Brown, Kyle Stavely, Zach Deacon, now the goal scorers. Well, Wilman and Vince, they've been chatting all night long. Looks like the last two they've decided just to play straight up face-off lacrosse, to their credit. There have been a few individual battles out there, and we did have that one scrap. This one, a big whack for Van Galen as he tried to cut the corner. Second straight offensive shift for him. This time drilled as he headed into the crease. As we're inside the final 2 minutes now. Van Scheppen on the near side. Mike McCannell on him. As Wright takes this in the middle. Now Van Scheppen. Quickly touched into the corner by James Whiteford. I'd be surprised if we see Teat anymore. This is a very banged up Brampton squad as Van Scheppen shoving here with Braden Davis, and Davis responded with a big two-hander. Braden Davis still having words. Luke Van Scheppen now at center floor, as Braden Davis is going to take a seat. And they continue to jaw at each other. Minute 15, and Luke Van Scheppen says, I'll see you in the playoffs if you make it that far. When you're up 11, you get to win the chirp battles, I guess, as Seth Van Scheppen goes to Gibson in the corner. It has not been a good night for Orangeville, as this is a Brampton team that came in pretty banged up, as I said. Don't want to lose Jeff Teat to a silly play or something that goes over the edge, as we'll still get Gibson out there, though. Lane has stirred the pot a little bit here tonight, but he's out there as we're in the final minute, closing in on the final 30 seconds, actually, as Robinson gives his man a chop. This one's going to get called very tightly in the last 30 seconds. 27 now, and Brampton looks like they're just going to keep it in their own zone, as they should be able to run out the clock. Shot clock a non-factor, and Brampton will take the victory and move to 22 points on the season as they are still trailing Six Nations by 10, who also picked up a victory here tonight. One final look at the out-of-town scoreboard as the horn is about to sound and make it official. 16-5, an 11-goal victory here for the Brampton Excelsiors. It is, well, still not final in the beaches, so head to pointstreak.com if you're looking for that one. 9-5 though, oh boy. Braves over the beaches. 7 minutes left to go in the third as they're trying to mount a comeback. Official in Peterborough as the Lakers defeat the Athletics. Official in Barrie as the Arrows beat the Lake Shores. And official here as the Excelsiors all over the Orangeville Northmen. This has been part of our season-long coverage of the Ontario Junior A Lacrosse League. On behalf of the JVI Sportsnet and the OLA, I'm Matthew Carrick. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for tuning in, and we will talk to you next time. Happy Canada Day.